So hey guys, I'm back with another YouTube video, of course. Let me move you guys back a little bit. I'm a little too close to the camera. Anyway, so I was gonna do like a different video, but I decided to film this one today just because I really want to wait to film this other video closer to Halloween. So I'm gonna do this video today. As you guys can tell, I'm doing another movie review. And today we're reviewing The Ugly Stepsister. So honestly, at first, I didn't think the stepsister was ugly. I thought she was quite pretty. But she becomes ugly because she's doing all these beauty things that most people shouldn't do, you know? And it's basically through the eyes of the stepsister. So you guys know, in Cinderella, there's two evil stepsisters, but these stepsisters are a little bit kinder to Cinderella. Well, that's not her name in the movie. I forgot what they called her, but then they start calling her Cinderella. So this movie is weird, I must say. There is a scene where you see a guy's member. I just didn't want to see that in my horror movie. Overall, you had to read it too, which I don't mind watching movies with subtitles, but their subtitles were going way too fast and I couldn't keep up with all of it. I didn't understand all of it, you know. But yeah, there was some funny parts in there. Overall, I didn't hate it. I thought it was interesting. It was something different to watch. I just really wish I hadn't seen that guy's member, you know. Because they literally showed it. And obviously they were showing their butts in the scenes and stuff. The creepy thing is the stepsister, Lily walked in on Cinderella and her man, you know, having sex and stuff out in the barn. Or wherever they were. And so I was like, oh my god, this is more graphic than I thought it was going to be. I had no idea that I would see somebody's member. That's what grossed me out a little bit. No offense to anyone that actually enjoys that, but I didn't really enjoy it. And like I said, they show how this one stepsister goes downhill. She spirals out of control, and basically it's based off of the original Cinderella, which the original Cinderella, the stepsisters cut off their toes, which was very ghastly and gross in this movie, but that's good body horror. One of the scenes that made me uncomfortable was when they were putting the needle close to her eye. I've never liked anything that has to do with eyes, so that was very effective, you know. I don't have any trauma with eyes or whatever, but I just don't like when something's really close to their eyes. They were stitching it up and stuff. Oh, I forgot to say there are spoilers. Sorry, guys. If you haven't seen the movie, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's not the worst. I'm probably going to give it just a 5 out of 10, just to be nice, because I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. You know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, there was a scene that made me super uncomfortable, which is really effective because, again, I don't like when they show things close to people's eyes. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of similarities to the original Cinderella, except that the other sister, she doesn't actually, so there's an older sister and a younger sister, stepsisters to Cinderella, and that stepsister never does what her younger sister is doing. She does her own thing. And the stepsister, the younger one, she wants to be with the prince and all that. And, she goes through all this stuff to be pretty and liked by the prince, which, honestly, the prince wasn't even that cute. I think the stable boy was cuter. That was Cinderella's boyfriend or whatever. But she said she needed to marry the prince, and he was like, why? Don't you love me? Or something like that. Sorry, I need a drink. That's my Friday the 13th cup. But anyway, she was like, I need to marry him because I don't have any money type thing. It was kind of shallow in my personal opinion. Although Cinderella was still kind to the evil stepsister, even though they weren't technically like horrible to her in this movie, not like the Disney version. But there are still some scenes where the stepsister is mean to Cinderella, but Cinderella is being nice to her and things like that. So yeah, I just think this movie overall was weird. To be honest with you, I thought it was weird. And obviously the ending, the evil stepsister didn't get the prince. But there was one scene where she was dancing with the prince and he was going to choose her as, as his wife, right? Because he wanted a virgin wife or whatever that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I'm like, why do you want a virgin wife? So he's dancing with the stepsister, and then Cinderella shows up, and he immediately goes to her instead. They start dancing, and like I said, the stepsister was very upset about that. Like, she left the room crying and throwing up. I'm like, girl, this guy isn't even that cute. But she does end up, at the bottom of the stairs, and Cinderella gets the prince and all this stuff. But yeah, like the similarities with the original story. Well, this is basically based on Grimm's fairy tale story, like the original Cinderella. So after she loses her shoe at the ball, because Cinderella does run off, she's like, you only have so much time to be there. So that part is still the same. And she leaves the shoe behind. The prince is looking all over for his maiden. And obviously Cinderella gets her happy ending. But the stepsister had done all this stuff to be beautiful. Like, she basically ate a tapeworm, tried to cut off her toes and stuff. And at the end of it, she didn't get the man. So, excuse me. The moral of this story is never try to change for a man. That's what I'm thinking. But you never know. You never know really what girls could go through to get a man. Like this stepsister, she did everything to get this man, and he still ended up choosing Cinderella. I honestly did feel bad for her. Not when she was being mean to Cinderella, but when at the end, even Cinderella was giving her like a sympathetic look, like, sorry, I get the prince and you don't. And we don't know what actually happens with her and the prince. Like, we never see it. And clearly Cinderella is not a virgin because, like I said earlier, she had sex with another guy. And so she's not a virgin by any means. But yeah, I asked my mom, I'm like, I wonder what he's going to say when he realizes that Cinderella is not a virgin. And we don't know. We don't know what happened afterwards. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing that happens at the end of Disney's Cinderella, I'm not real sure, though. But we just don't know what happens to Cinderella after that. Because, again, it's through the eyes of the evil stepsister. And the evil stepsisters, they eventually escape and move on and go somewhere else. I don't know where they went. It doesn't explain that. And yeah, so if you want to watch this movie, I would say don't go into it with hoping that it's a basic horror movie, because it's not. It's definitely a body horror movie, definitely, but it's not like a full horror movie, if that makes sense. Like, it's a horror adjacent, I would say. Like, body horror, horror adjacent, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I'm sorry for rambling about this movie. That's it for today. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.